Imagine the scene. The sun is high and hot over the deserts of what we now call Sharjah. Archaeologists are carefully brushing away layers of sand, just as people have done for thousands of years. But today, they find something extraordinary. It's not pottery, and it's not bone. It's a small, round metal disc. As they clean it, a glint of silver shines through the dust of centuries. This isn't just one coin, there are more. A whole hoard of them, hidden away for safekeeping over 2 millennia ago. This incredible discovery at the ancient site of Malayha gives us a direct, tangible link to the people who lived, traded, and thrived in this land long before the skyscrapers of Dubai and Abu Dhabi touched the sky. These aren't just any old coins. They are a window into a lost world. When you hold one of these silver treasures, you're holding a piece of history that a person, just like you or me, once carried in a pouch. Perhaps they were a merchant, preparing to buy precious frankincense to be sent along the great trade routes. Or maybe they were a soldier, paid for their service protecting a desert kingdom. These coins, known as Tetradrachmas, tell a story of a surprisingly connected and sophisticated society. They whisper tales of long-distance trade, powerful rulers, and a culture that was open to ideas from far, far away. The discovery wasn't just about finding silver, it was about finding the very roots of the UAE's global story. Each coin is a miniature work of art, a small canvas of history struck in precious metal. On their surface, we can see images and symbols that were important to the people of the time. The very existence of these coins at Malayha proves that this wasn't an isolated backwater. It was a bustling hub, a key stop on the ancient incense route that connected the Mediterranean world with the riches of southern Arabia and India. These silver pieces were the hard currency of their day, a universal language of value that everyone understood, from a Roman sailor to an Arabian trader. They were the engine of an ancient global economy, and their discovery places the early UAE right at its heart. What makes this find so thrilling is how it completely rewrites what we thought we knew about this region's past. Before these coins were unearthed, many believed this area was just a quiet, nomadic land. But the silver of Malayha tells a different story. It speaks of organized towns, of leaders with the power to mint their own money, and of a people who were active participants in the great drama of ancient history. It's a powerful reminder that history is buried all around us, waiting for a patient hand to uncover its secrets. These small silver discs are not just currency, they are keys, unlocking the door to a rich and complex past that is the foundation of the UAE today. So, what did these first silver coins actually look like? When you examine them closely, you see something quite surprising. The face staring back at you from the silver is not an Arab ruler. It's a face that looks distinctly Greek. Many of these coins feature a portrait of a figure who looks a lot like Alexander the Great, the famous conqueror who spread Greek culture across the ancient world. On the other side of the coin, you might see a seated figure, often identified as the Greek god Zeus, holding an eagle on his outstretched hand. These are classic Hellenistic designs, the artistic style that followed Alexander's conquests. Why would a coin made and used in Arabia have a Greek face on it? The answer is all about influence and trust. Alexander the Great's coins were the US dollars of their day. They were made of high-quality silver and were recognized and accepted everywhere, from Greece to India. When the local rulers in the Malayha region decided to create their own money, they didn't want to reinvent the wheel. They copied the most famous and trusted coin design of the time. It was a clever move. By using a familiar style, they ensured their own currency would be easily accepted by foreign merchants and neighboring kingdoms, making trade smooth and simple. The inscriptions on these early coins also tell a story of Greek influence. Many of them have the name Alexander written on them in Greek letters. At first, the local mints copied the originals almost perfectly, but over time, as the memory of Alexander faded and local artists took more creative control, the designs began to change. The portraits became more stylized, less realistic. The Greek letters sometimes became jumbled, as if the person carving the die didn't fully understand the language they were copying. It's a fascinating process to watch, like a message being whispered from person to person, changing a little bit with each telling. This period shows us that the people of ancient Arabia were not just passive receivers of foreign culture. They were smart adapters. They took a powerful international symbol, the image of Alexander, and used it for their own purposes. It was a practical decision that plugged their economy directly into the wider Hellenistic world. These silver coins are beautiful physical evidence of this cultural exchange. They show a society that was confident enough to look outward, to borrow the best ideas from others, and to make them their own. This spirit of connection and adaptation is a theme we see again and again throughout the history of the UAE. As time went on, the people of the Malaya region grew more confident in their own identity and power. They were no longer content to simply copy Greek designs. They began to change the coins, adding their own unique local touches. This is a hugely important moment in the story of the UAE's silver coins. It's the moment when the people of this land started to use money not just for trade, but to say, "This is us. This is who we are." One of the most significant changes was the addition of inscriptions in their own language, Aramaic, which was widely spoken in the region at the time. Suddenly, alongside the Greek-style portraits, new words began to appear. The most famous of these coins is one that bears the name Abiatha in clear Aramaic script. This is incredibly exciting for historians. It is the first time a local ruler from this specific part of Arabia is named on a coin. Abiatha wasn't a Greek king or a distant emperor, he was a leader from right here. Minting a coin with your own name on it was a major statement of power and independence. It declared that this was a kingdom with its own authority, its own ruler, and its own place in the world. It marks the shift from imitation to innovation. The artwork on the coins also started to take on a more local flavor. The classic, realistic Greek portraits began to morph into more abstract and symbolic designs. The hair might be shown as a series of pellets, the nose a simple line. On the reverse, the seated figure of Zeus, sometimes transformed into something that looks more like a local Arabian deity or a stylized representation of a ruler. The eagle held by the figure was often replaced by a horse, an animal of huge importance in Arabian culture. These were not mistakes, they were deliberate choices, reflecting the artistic tastes and cultural symbols of the people who were making and using them. This evolution of coinage is a powerful metaphor for the development of a distinct cultural identity in the region. It shows a people moving out of the shadow of a great foreign empire and stepping into their own light. By blending the international style of the Hellenistic world with their own language, symbols, and rulers, they created something new and unique. These silver coins became a declaration of their heritage. They were a message to the world that while they were connected to international networks, they had a proud and independent identity, born from the sands and spirit of Arabia. Centuries passed, and a monumental change swept across Arabia and the world: the rise of Islam. This new faith brought with it a profound transformation in every aspect of life, from law and culture to art and economics. And of course, it completely changed the money. The old coins, with their human portraits and pagan symbols, were no longer appropriate. Islamic teachings discouraged the depiction of living beings. So, a new type of silver coin was introduced: the Islamic dirham. This was a revolutionary moment in the history of money in the region, marking the second great chapter in its silver coin story. The Islamic dirham was radically different from the coins that came before it. Gone were the faces of kings and gods. Instead, the coins were covered in beautiful Arabic calligraphy. These weren't just random words, they were carefully chosen verses from the Quran, the holy book of Islam. The primary inscription was the Shahada, the core declaration of Islamic faith. There is no God but God, and Muhammad is his messenger. The coins also included the name of the ruler and the city and year where they were minted. This meant that for the first time, coins became a powerful tool for spreading the message of the new faith. These new silver dirhams became a symbol of the unity and power of the Islamic Caliphate. From Spain to Central Asia, people used the same currency, which followed a strict standard of weight and purity. This helped to create a vast and dynamic common market, and the lands of the modern-day UAE were a vital part of it. Archaeological finds across the Emirates have uncovered Abbasid-era dirhams, proving that the region was fully integrated into this new economic and cultural world. These coins were used to trade for pearls from the Gulf, spices from India, and silks from China, making the region a crossroads of global commerce once again. The design of the dirham was a statement of a new world order, one based on faith and the written word, rather than on the images of powerful men. The elegant Kufic script used on the early dirhams was a work of art in itself, a celebration of the beauty of the Arabic language. These coins were not just for buying and selling, they were a daily reminder of the principles of the faith, carrying a spiritual message in every transaction. The introduction of the silver dirham wasn't just a currency reform, It was a cultural revolution, and its legacy can still be seen in the name of the UAE's currency today. As we move forward in time, into the 18th and 19th centuries, the story of silver in the UAE takes another fascinating turn. By this period, local coin production had largely ceased, but trade was more intense than ever. The ports along the Gulf Coast were bustling with ships from Europe, Africa, and Asia. To conduct this international business, merchants needed a currency that was trusted by everyone. And the coin that came to dominate the trade routes of the region was a large, beautiful silver coin from halfway across the world, the Maria Theresa thaler, minted in Austria. This coin was first struck in 1741 and featured a striking portrait of the powerful Empress Maria Theresa of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It was known for its high and consistent silver content, which made it incredibly popular with traders. They knew that no matter where they were from, a Maria Theresa thaler was always worth its weight in pure silver. Its reliability made it the preferred currency for trade all along the coasts of the Red Sea, the Arabian Gulf, and East Africa. For nearly 200 years, this Austrian coin was the unofficial money of the region now known as the UAE. It's an incredible thought. A shopkeeper in Ras Al Khaimah or a pearl diver in Dubai would have been more familiar with the face of an Austrian empress than with almost any other ruler. The coin was so popular that even after Maria Theresa died in 1780, mints in Austria and later in other European cities continued to strike the coin with that exact date. They knew that traders would only trust the original design, so they froze it in time. This flood of foreign silver shows just how connected the coastal communities of the Emirates were to the global economy long before the discovery of oil. Their prosperity was built on the sea, on trade, and on their ability to interact with people from all over the world. The dominance of the Maria Theresa thaler, alongside other foreign currencies like the Indian rupee, tells a story of pragmatism. The local sheikdoms and their people used what worked best. They didn't need their own ruler's face on a coin to prosper. They needed a stable and reliable medium of exchange to facilitate their thriving trade in pearls, dates, and other goods. The presence of these European silver coins in the sands of the UAE is a testament to the region's long-standing role as a global hub, a place where East met West, and where the language of silver was understood by all. For centuries, the story of money in this region was a story of using other people's coins. From Greek-inspired Tetradrachmas to Austrian thalers and Indian rupees, the currency reflected the area's place as a crossroads of trade. But everything changed on December 2, 1971. On this historic day, the individual sheikdoms, then known as the Trucial States, came together to form a new, independent country, the United Arab Emirates. A new nation needs its own symbols of unity and identity, and one of the most important is its own national currency. This led to the birth of the modern UAE dirham. In 1973, the UAE Currency Board, which later became the Central Bank of the UAE, introduced the new dirham. This was a huge moment. For the first time in centuries, the country had its own official money, designed for its own people. The name dirham was chosen deliberately. It was a powerful link back to the region's deep Islamic heritage, and the silver dirhams that had circulated here during the golden age of the Abbasid Caliphate, more than 1,000 years earlier. It was a way of saying that this new, modern nation was built on a foundation of ancient history and enduring culture. The designs chosen for the new coins were also deeply symbolic. Unlike the coins of the past, they didn't feature rulers. Instead, they celebrated the culture and environment of the newly formed nation. The coin showed images that every citizen would recognize: a graceful gazelle, date palms swaying in the breeze, a traditional dhow sailing boat, and most famously, the dala, a traditional Arabic coffee pot that is a powerful symbol of hospitality and generosity. These images were chosen to forge a sense of shared national identity, reminding people of the heritage that united them as one country. The introduction of the UAE dirham was more than just a practical step. It was a declaration of economic sovereignty and national pride. It marked the end of the reliance on foreign currencies and the beginning of a new era of self-determination. The coins that people began to use in their daily lives were a constant, tangible reminder that they were now citizens of the United Arab Emirates. This first coin in our story, the modern national dirham, represents the culmination of a long journey, from an ancient trading outpost to a unified and prosperous modern nation. While the coins you find in your pocket today are made from metals like copper and nickel, the story of silver in the UAE is not over. The nation continues to honor the long and glittering history of silver coinage through the minting of special commemorative coins. These are not meant for everyday shopping. They are limited edition works of art, struck in pure silver to mark important national events, celebrate cultural heritage, and honor significant milestones in the country's journey. They are a modern continuation of the ancient tradition of using precious metal to record history for future generations. The Central Bank of the UAE regularly issues these beautiful silver coins. For example, you might find a coin celebrating the 40th National Day, with an intricate design showing the spirit of the Union. Another might commemorate the founding of a new university, the hosting of a major international event like the Expo, or the anniversary of the nation's founder, Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan. Each coin tells a story, capturing a key moment in the UAE's modern history. They are highly sought after by collectors both within the UAE and around the world, acting as metallic ambassadors for the nation's achievements. These modern silver coins are a bridge between the past and the present. They use the same precious metal that was used in the Malayha Tetradrachmas 2,300 years ago, but they employ modern minting technology to create incredibly detailed and flawless designs. They connect to the Islamic dirhams of the Middle Ages by being a medium for expressing identity. But instead of religious text, they use images and symbols that represent the modern, multicultural nation. They are a way for the UAE to speak to the world, showcasing its progress, its vision for the future, and its deep respect for its own past. In this way, silver has retained its special status. It has transformed from a tool of daily commerce into a medium for celebration and remembrance. Owning one of these commemorative silver coins is like owning a small piece of the national story. It represents a link in a chain that stretches back through the centuries, from the traders of Malayha to the pearl divers of the Gulf, and onwards to the architects of the modern nation. These silver treasures ensure that even in our digital age, the tradition of marking history in precious, tangible metal remains alive and well in the UAE. If you lay out the coins from the UAE's long history in a line, you are not just looking at pieces of money, you are looking at a timeline of the nation's soul. Each silver coin is a chapter in a much larger story, a story about trade, culture, faith, and identity. The journey from the ancient Tetradrachmas of Malayha to the modern commemorative dirham reveals the very essence of the UAE's character, its constant connection to the wider world, and its remarkable ability to adapt, innovate, and thrive. This is the true treasure that the history of silver coins reveals to us. The earliest coins from Malayha, with their Greek faces and local Aramaic script, tell us that the UAE's role as a global crossroads is not a new phenomenon, it's in its DNA. For thousands of years, the people of this land have been looking outwards, engaging in international trade, and welcoming ideas from other cultures. These coins show a society that was open-minded and pragmatic, using international standards while also asserting its own local identity. This spirit of being both global and local at the same time is something that defines the UAE to this very day. The arrival of the Islamic silver dirham marks a profound shift. It shows the region embracing a new identity rooted in faith and the Arabic language. The elegant calligraphy covering these coins speaks of a culture that values knowledge, art, and spirituality. The widespread use of these dirhams demonstrates that the region was a key player within the vast and sophisticated Islamic civilization, contributing to a golden age of science, commerce, and culture. This deep Islamic heritage remains a bedrock of the nation's identity, a source of values and inspiration that continues to shape its society. Finally, the journey through foreign thalers to the modern UAE dirham tells a story of resilience and rebirth. The reliance on foreign currency shows a practical people focused on the business of trade. Then, the creation of the national dirham in 1973 symbolizes a powerful moment of unity and self-determination. The designs on these modern coins, the Dala, the Dao, the Gazelle, are a celebration of a unique national heritage. Together, this entire collection of silver coins paints a portrait of a nation that is proud of its ancient trading past, its deep cultural roots, and its remarkable modern transformation. Understanding the history of a nation's money is about so much more than economics. It's about understanding the people themselves. In the UAE, the story of silver coins is the story of the nation. It is a physical, touchable history that we can hold in our hands. From the first silver tetradrachmas buried under the sands of Malaha, to the unifying Islamic dirhams of the great caliphates, and finally to the modern dirham that represents a proud, independent nation, each coin is a witness to history. It is a small metal disc that tells a huge story of connection, faith, and identity. We can see three clear stages in this journey. First, there was the ancient silver, the coins of Malaha, which established the region's place on the world map of trade 2,300 years ago. Second, there was the Islamic silver dirham, a coin that represented a new era of faith and cultural unity across a vast civilization. And third, there is the modern UAE dirham, the ultimate symbol of a nation forged in unity and looking towards the future. Each of these represents a distinct first coin, a new beginning that built upon the legacy of what came before it. This long history teaches us a vital lesson. The UAE's success today is not an accident. It is built on a very old foundation. The spirit of global trade, cultural openness, and adaptability that we see in the modern UAE was already present in the merchants of Malaha, who used Greek-style coins. The national pride and shared identity of today's UAE echoes the moment that local rulers first dared to put their own names on their currency. The cultural values of hospitality and heritage celebrated on modern coins are the same values that have defined this region for centuries. So, the next time you hold a dirham coin in your hand, take a moment to think about the incredible journey it represents. Think of the ancient silver that crossed the deserts, the medieval dirhams that sailed the seas, and the foreign thalers that filled the markets. Your coin is the latest chapter in a story that is thousands of years old. It is a symbol not just of economic value, but of a rich history and a vibrant culture. By understanding the story of its coins, we gain a deeper and more meaningful appreciation for the incredible story of the United Arab Emirates itself.